This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Everyone who will ever love me, get them all together through a party. And I wanna see it, taste the roar, the crowd. Guess that's all I ever think about. So I'm gonna get up, it'll be fine. I'm sure of myself most of the time. And I don't need school, I don't need friends. Yes, where I'm not off the deep end. It's my life and it'll be fine. I'm not insane, just stuck in my mind. I don't need school, I don't need friends, but I'm not off the deep end. 'Cause I know I won't be alone forever. 'Cause all I wanna be is better. All I wanna be is, all I wanna be is. And I know I won't feel stuck forever.
Following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Okay, it might not be what you think. It just might be the bullshit that we were expecting. Anyways, how are you on this lovely I almost said February, listen to me, April the 30th, which is a Thursday of 2026. I hope you are ready to have a grandioso time today as we are hanging out in the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Oh, radio and sarcasm, where could you go wrong at any extent with any of that stuff? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend. That is for sure. Yes, I'm not your friend. Okay, so a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse because there's just no other way around it as we are hanging and talking and doing all the fun stuff. So let's kind of go through some generalities here on episode 1344. Our show consists of safety in the news. I've said this a few times, and we talk about news and safety. We bring in some professional broadcasters. They talk about what the hell's going on. We come back in, give you a level of a main story, and then we make a run for it. No, literally, a run for it. So there you go. That's kind of the whole kit and caboodle. So, that's it. If you want to come and interact with the show, it's a simple process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging are the options of the stuff that is going on because that's kind of how we do our stuff. So there you go. There you go. A lot of things inside of the world of the multiverse. Outside of that, boom. We kind of hang out, just do our thing. So I do have my friends waiting from Feature Story News if you're ready to go. If you're ready to get the show on the road, we can do that right away. Some people go, well, why don't you just start off with the news just right out of the bat? If you listened to the last show that this was playing on Safety FM, and I'm just saying, right before we came on, it gave you 30 seconds of news. Just giving you the layout of the land. Don't get mad at me. I'm just sharing with you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get everything moving, everything grooving, because that's just the easiest way to do it. So here are our friends at Feature Story News telling you what the hell's going on.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Neha Punya. Brent crude oil surged to $120 a barrel on signs of a prolonged US blockade of Iranian exports and stalled nuclear negotiations, stoking fears that supplies will remain limited for longer.
The global oil benchmark Brent crude was up at the $120 a barrel mark, climbing to a 4-year high, as traders are losing optimism that the ceasefire will allow for oil to flow once again through the Strait of Hormuz. Shipping remains effectively at a standstill due to the threat of Iranian attacks and a US naval blockade on Iranian ports. Oil prices increased on Wednesday after US President Donald Trump signaled that he would keep the naval blockade in place until Iran agreed a deal to end its nuclear program. It comes as the Federal Reserve held interest rates steady. The US Central Bank says the oil supply crisis in the Gulf, triggered by the war, was contributing to a high level of uncertainty about the economic outlook. Laura Westbrook, Hong Kong.
This is US President Donald Trump has refused to lift a US blockade on the Strait of Hormuz as the conflict is nearing the 60-day mark. Meanwhile, a Pentagon official has told a House Armed Services Committee hearing that the war has cost the US $25 billion approximately so far. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to visit the UAE in May as New Delhi works diplomatic channels to secure its energy needs. This comes after the UAE announced its exit from OPEC, a move that analysts say could help India secure cheaper crude oil supply. Ishan Garg is in New Delhi.
Reports say India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi could make a quick stopover in the UAE during his trip to Europe later in May. What seems like a last-minute visit comes after experts said UAE could become crucial for India's energy security as its oil production will no longer be capped by OPEC quotas. The Gulf nation could hit peak production of over 5 million barrels per day in the long run, and if it's able to supply its oil through overground piped network via the coast of Gulf of Oman, it could help New Delhi reduce reliance on oil shipped through the now blocked Strait of Hormuz. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
Kevin Warsh has cleared a major hurdle to become the next head of the US Federal Reserve. President Donald Trump's nominee got the green light from the Senate Banking Committee, paving the way for the exit of current Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Tony Waterman has more.
No Democrat voted in favor of advancing Warsh's nomination to the full Senate. Some have argued that he has shifted his position on inflation to better align with Trump and will be the president's puppet, undermining the independence of the U.S. Central Bank, something Warsh denies. Tony Waterman, Washington.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today at demand destruction, the inevitable consequence now that the last remaining oil to have transited the Strait of Hormuz before the US and Israeli war on Iran got underway at the end of February has now entered the customer market. With no more oil transiting the strait for the foreseeable future, the oil industry and its customers are adjusting to new realities. Andy Brown is former upstream director for exploration, oil and gas production at Shell in the Middle East.
There will be has to be some demand destruction. Lufthansa cancelled 20,000 flights. So you will have to do less flying, share, carpooling more. You basically got roughly 10% can't get out now of oil. So you still got 90% of the oil. So there will be a constraint, but the world isn't very good at pulling back oil demand. So the price is very high and could go a lot higher as people start competing over the cargoes they need to keep their airports running and all sorts of other things. It's going to take a long time to unwind the impact of the war.
And if the Strait of Hormuz eventually reopens, the adjustment back to the pre-war ability of oil majors to move their product will also have to adjust to the new reality of the United Arab Emirates pulling out of the OPEC cartel. That's another big development this week that will further reshape the market. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. Brent crude oil surged to $120 a barrel on signs of a prolonged US blockade of Iranian exports and stalled nuclear negotiations. This as President Donald Trump has reportedly rejected an Iranian proposal to lift the US blockade as the conflict nears the 60-day mark. Meanwhile, a Pentagon official has told a House Armed Services Committee hearing that the war is costing the US $25 billion approximately. And that is the latest feature story news. Neha Punya reporting.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves only on Safety FM.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com. ONE.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, here we go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday, doing all the Thursday things, I guess, that we can do. Okay, so let's get into it because I guess we need to start talking right away about some stuff that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because why would we not do it in any other way whatsoever? So, where do you want to go? I got it for you. So take a listen to this. So this is coming directly off of the news. President Trump says that he rejected an offer from Russian President Vladimir Putin to help resolve the Iran war instead of urging Putin to consider a ceasefire in Ukraine. According to Trump, the two leaders held a private call yesterday, which Putin expressed interest in being involved in the Iran uranium enrichment negotiations. Trump told reporters that he pushed back, saying that he'd much rather see Putin focus on ending the war with Ukraine. Trump described the rest of the call as very good and said that he suggested Putin consider a little bit of a ceasefire. The Kremlin said that Putin praised Trump's decision to extend the U.S. ceasefire with Iran, which has now been prolonged by 4 weeks. And paired with the U.S. naval blockade aimed to pressure to go back and forth with negotiations. Russian officials also claimed that Putin offered a temporary truce in Ukraine tied to Russia's May the 9th Victory Day celebration. The Kremlin spokesperson called the conversation friendly, frank, and businesslike, saying that it lasted more than 90 minutes. So there you go. What do you think? I'm just asking your thoughts. Yeah, what you are thinking. I mean, it's an interesting one. Private conversation. Very interesting as we are talking. Okay, so take a listen to this one. Yesterday on CBS Morning, Todd Blanche, the acting attorney general, said that Donald Trump didn't direct him to pursue the charges on James Comey. That's the former head of the FBI. Take a listen to this.
Mr. Blanche, should the President of the United States in any way direct you to pursue this matter?
Of course not. Absolutely, positively not. And there's no suggestion that that's the case that happened. And the fact that we're doing our work, this is not something that just happened the past couple of weeks. This is something that has been investigated for nearly a year now. And the results of that investigation is a grand jury returned an indictment.
Okay, so there you go. There you go. That's what Ted Blanche had to talk about. He said, what do you want to talk about? And that was it. So take a listen to this real quick. Senator Ted Cruz signaled in an interview that he does not believe the FCC should intervene in a recent dispute involving Jimmy Kimmel and Donald Trump. Speaking on Punchbowl News, Cruz said that he does not think is the government's role to censor speech, adding that the FCC should not act as the speech police. His comments come as the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, ordered an early review of Disney's owned and operated TV station licenses following Kimmel's recent joke about Melania Trump during a monologue. The joke prompted public criticism from the First Lady and call for the President Trump for ABC to fire Kimmel. Kimmel responded on his show saying that the joke was not a call to violence. Disney, now under CEO Josh D'Amara, issued a statement saying that it is confident that its qualification as a license and prepares to address the matter through the proper legal channels. So there you go. So I'm still confused by some of this. I really am. So he said that, was it the best taste of a joke? Probably not. Let's just be realistic. But then, was it yesterday? Yeah, I want to say yesterday. Let's say yesterday. Let's say earlier this week, just to be on the safe side. President Trump was announcing on how his parents were married for 63 years. And then he turned around and looked at Melania and said, we're not going to make it that far. Now, what is it, a 24-year difference or whatever the hell it is between the two? So what's the difference there? I'm just kind of confused. I don't understand any of it. So there you go. Believe me, I'm not a defender of any legacy media. I'm just wondering, how did one kind of correspond to the other? It's just kind of a weird time when it's all said and done.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Idiota. Yeah, I know. Okay, so Brent crude oil prices climbed above $115 a barrel yesterday as tensions between the United States and Iran continue under an April 8th ceasefire. Negotiations to end the conflict have stalled. President Trump posted on social media, that Iran better get smart soon, criticizing the country for not agreeing to a non-nuclear deal. Trump also claimed that Iran told the United States that it was in a state of collapse and wants the U.S. Navy to lift the blockade on the strait, a key source of the global oil shipments. Earlier this week, the president and national security team reviewed the Iranian proposal and the proposal that would reopen the strait, but did not include concessions on Iran's nuclear program. Oil prices have been rising steadily for nearly 2 weeks after briefly dropping around $90 a barrel following the ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. Brent crude has increased on 12 consecutive days. So there you go. It's interesting on how it all works, huh? So there you go, there you go, there you go. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things. A violent hailstorm slammed the Springfield, Missouri area on Tuesday, producing softball-sized hail of 4.75 inches, one of the worst storms the region has ever recorded. Emergency officials said that radar showed that the hail rapidly growing in size and that the storm went on to shatter windshield, injured drivers, and knock out power lines, and damage hundreds of vehicles and even aircrafts. At Dickinson Park Zoo, the hail killed a 21-year-old emu named Adam and injured some other animals, which is now recovering. The airport saw the extensive damage that some travelers had to be bussed 100 miles away to Arkansas because rental cars were destroyed. Staff covered hundreds of wrecked vehicles with donated tarps. Meteorologists called the storm very rare, noting that it was a powerful supercell with enough wind shear to keep hailstorms suspended long enough to grow an unusually large. Severe spring weather continues to hit the South and the Midwest. So there you go. Talk about some weird stuff. Talk about some weird stuff going on. So I don't know. I always look at this stuff and go, okay, so how the hell did this happen? Maybe that's the way to look at it. So, every once in a while I talk about some weird stuff about the things that happen. And I will tell you, in some other countries, not here, people have this terrible habit of doing this. And believe me, when we get into it, you're going to be like, what? That they like to smear cake on people's faces when it's their birthday or smash their face into the cake. Not something commonly done here, at least not in the areas that I hang out. But it's done in other countries. Here's where it gets weird. A birthday party in India turned into a horror story after 33-year-old Jeet Sani allegedly shot and killed 3 of his friends over a birthday cake. Sani was celebrating with his friends at the gym when the usual birthday cake tradition kicked in. His buddy smeared cake on his face as a joke. Instead of laughing it off, he got furious. Witnesses say that he started arguing with the 3 men over what he saw as a disrespect. He stormed out, but instead of cooling off, he came back with several men and a licensed gun. Police say that Zenu, there you go, opened up fire on the 3 men before anyone could act. All 3 were rushed to the hospital in critical conditions where they were pronounced dead. One victim's brother said that Zenu had called him earlier in the night complaining that his brother had insulted him and used foul language. He said that he said to try to calm down, and he said that he'd handle it the next morning, but there was no next morning for those three men. So his accomplices fled during the chaos and are still on the run. Police have now detained 15 people for questioning, and the search continues. So apparently the guy took have your cake and eat it too as a felony. So there you go. What do you think here? Some interesting stuff. Take a listen to this one because I found this interesting. And, we normally try not to go into
the sports realm
inside of here, but we talk about it from time to time. A Sprint star, Abby, I better say that correctly, Steiner has filed a major product liability lawsuit against Puma and the Mercedes Formula One team. Alleging that their carbon-plated high-performance shoe were defective, unsafe, and ultimately responsible for a severe foot injury that ended her competitive career. According to the complaint, Steiner stated that wearing Puma shoes in September 2022 and soon developed bone stress injuries, foot strain, bone spurs, and even a torn Achilles requiring multiple surgeries between 2023 and 2025. She says that the shoe design altered her biomechanics and increased injury risk, something that she alleges that the Puma and Mercedes either knew or should have known. The lawsuit names specific models, including the Deviate Nitro Elite 2 and 3 and the Evo Speed Tokyo Nitro, claiming that the carbon fiber plates that the Nitro foam changes the force travel through her seat. Steiner is seeking damages for medical costs, lost sponsorship income, emotional harm, and loss of quality of life. Steiner, once considered a rising U.S. sprinter superstar with the NCAA records and world relay titles, says the injury kept her from making the 2024 Olympic team and forced her to step away from the sport entirely. As of now, Puma and Mercedes have not filed a response. So Puma promised speed, not want to sprint into retirement. And when your shoes have more horsepower than your feet can handle, there you go. She wanted a gold medal but got a medical chart. When your sneakers come with a pit crew but no safety check, and she wanted traction and she got traction in physical therapy. So not things to joke about, but some things to definitely consider. That is for sure. Okay, so let's do some other things real quick. A retired postal worker in Maryland just turned his zip code into $50,000 with a pick 5. She has been playing the same out-of-state zip code for years, a place where some of her relatives lives, and those numbers finally hit on February the 12th drawing. And her biggest win ever, she had previous best was $5,000, and she already knows where the money is going into savings, into the house, and a vacation with a friend. As for whether she'll keep playing the same numbers, she didn't hesitate. Of course, the same numbers. So there you go, $50,000 for playing your zip code. I'm not saying go out there and do it, but something to think about. That is for sure. Take a listen to this one. A Delta flight from Miami to Atlanta never made it off the ground on Monday because a passenger allegedly refused to hang up the phone. Police say the 39-year-old Shannon Marie Harris ignored multiple instructions to end her calls as the plane was taxiing. Flight attendants began the safety announcements. She allegedly became belligerent, prompting the captain to turn the aircraft back to the gate. Passengers grew frustrated. One person can even be heard repeatedly pleading, please be considerate. At once at the gate, the Delta supervisor asked Harris to leave. She refused, which forced the airline to deplane everyone. Harris then tried to exit with the rest of the passengers and was arrested on trespassing-related charges. Delta apologized for the delay, saying the flight left about an hour late and that it has a zero tolerance for disruptive behavior. So there you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. Okay, so take a listen to this one real quick. A former Chick-fil-A employee in Grapevine, Texas, was arrested after allegedly stealing $80,000 through a months-long mac and cheese refund scam. After being fired last November, police say that he repeatedly snuck back into the restaurant, rang up fake food orders, including 800 mac and cheese, and then refunded them to his own credit card. Security footage captured him doing it, leading to charges of theft, money laundering, and evading arrest. If convicted, he faces 10 years in state prison. Ironically, mac and cheese is still on the menu. So let me make sure that I understand this. He was able to get back into the Chick-fil-A and nobody recognized that he no longer worked there? Seems kind of weird as we are talking. So I don't know. What do you think? Just saying. Okay, let's continue talking about some other stuff. A man in rural India caused a shock at a local bank when he dug up his sister's remains and carried them into the branch to prove that she had died. For weeks, Jitu Munda had been trying to withdraw about 19,300 INR from the late sister's account, but was repeatedly told that he needed proper documentation. Confused by the process, believing the bank wanted her present, he exhumed her body, wrapped it up, and walked it nearly 3 kilometers to the bank. Staff and customers were horrified and police were called. Authorities later explained that to Jitsu, that who is illiterate, did not understand the legal steps required, and the bank had not clearly communicated the process. Officials say that since it issues the necessary documents, released the funds to the legal heirs and reburied the remains under police supervision. That's one way to prove that an account holder isn't available for a signature. Holy shit. I mean, think about that for a moment. That it would have to be, number one, horrifying to dig up your sister. And then number two, think about how crazy that would be. As you're in the bank and somebody sees this. So there you go. So take a listen to this one because, we have to talk a little bit about everything. A dramatic security footage from Mississippi shows a group of quick-thinking middle schoolers jumping into action to stop their school bus after the driver passed out behind the wheel on a 4-lane highway. The incident happened on April the 22nd in rural Kling. Students noticed that driver Leah Taylor had slumped over and the bus began drifting. In the video, 5 Hancock Middle School students immediately worked together to save everyone on board. 6th grader Jackson Casavane grabbed the steering wheel when he saw the bus veering off the road. 6th grader Darius Clark slammed the brakes so hard that he nearly threw himself through the windshield. 8th grader Kylie Clark called 911. 8th grader Destiny Cornelius spotted the driver's medication in her hand and gave it to her, and the teamwork brought the bus to a safe stop, likely preventing a major tragedy. The students were honored at the school pep rally and will get lunch at a field trip as a reward. Driver Leah Taylor, 46, said that she's grateful and credits the kids for saving her life and everyone else who was on the bus. Holy shit, kids getting to work right there in regards of the stuff that they're putting together. And I say getting to work because they were doing it as a cohesive force in regards of getting everything done. Hey, love hearing that one. That's a good story to end with. So let's go ahead and get into our main story. Let's do that.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So it is that main story time. And when I say main story time, what am I talking about? It is that time in the show that we kind of jump together and we do some stuff. And we talk about what the hell is going on. And today, well, we're going to get a little weird. And I'm going to pull off some high-level 1980s French philosophy into the Rated R show. And I want to talk about a book that came out roughly about 1981 by philosopher Jean, I'm going to butcher this dude's name, Baudrillard or something like that. The book is called Simulacra in Simulation. Let me say that one more time. Simulacra in Simulation. If you've never heard of it, you've actually probably have. It is the exact book that the Wachowskis use as the foundation for the movie The Matrix. The core idea is the book is terrifyingly simple. Gene argued that modern society of human beings have been replaced all reality and meaning with symbols and signs. He have said that the simulacrum, a copy of something that no longer has an original, we build these simulations and eventually we become absorbed by the simulation that completely forget that the actual reality looks like. He used this famous analogy, the map and the territory. Imagine the empire that builds a map of its territory so detailed, so massive that it covers the entire real world. Eventually, the real world rots away underneath it, and the people just live in the map. They mistake the map for reality. Now, why in the hell am I bringing up a 40-year-old French philosophy book that shows about industrial safety? Well, the reason why I'm talking about this, because corporate safety standards are the ultimate modern simulation. We have completely lost touch with territories, and we are living entirely on a map. And let me break this down with the rated R truth. Think about your facility for a moment, what is the actual reality of it? The actual reality is the territory. It's a shop floor. It's loud. It's hot. There is a kinetic energy, high pressure lines, hazardous chemicals, and tired, overworked human beings trying to hit production numbers. That is the truth, and that is the territory. Now, what is the map? Well, the map is your safety management system. That is your ISO 45001 binder. It's your policies. It's your JSAs. It's your behavior-based safety observations. That's your perfectly formatted OSHA logs. Duh. At some point in the last 20 years, corporate America decided the map was more important than the territory. Let's look at the stages of the simulation. In the beginning, a safety rule is just a reflection of reality. A guy gets his hand caught into a press, so we write a rule, put a guard on the press. The rule represents the real and physical hazards. But then the system starts to mutate. We move to the next stage of the simulation, which is where we use safety to mask the truth. This is what we call safety audits. We all, know that audit game, and let's not lie here. It's pure theater. Corporate says the auditor is coming on Tuesday. So what happens on Monday? We clean the floor. We hide the broken tools. We tell the operators, hey, make sure that you wear your safety glasses tomorrow. The suits are walking on the floor. And when the auditor walks through, you are not looking at reality. They're looking at the perfectly staged play. I call it the dog and pony show. They check their little boxes on their iPads. They generate a score of 98%, and they hand it over to the plant manager. The audit score is a simulation. It's the fact that on Wednesday, as soon as the auditor leaves, the glasses come off, the broken tools come right back out, but corporate doesn't care because the map looks good. And that brings us to the final, most dangerous stage, the Gene's philosophy, the hyperreal, the pure simulacrum. In safety, the hyperreal is the executive dashboard. Go into a corporate boardroom in this country. They have massive monitors on the wall and filled with metrics, total recordable incident rate, TRIR, just in case, DART rates, near miss reporting, quotas. It is the numbers are low, the dashboard is green. No, seriously, the dashboard then is for sure green. To the executive sitting in that air-conditioned room, sipping on bottled water, that green dashboard is their reality. They look at the screen and say, wow, we have world-class safety culture. We have zero recordables this quarter, but it's a simulation. It has absolutely zero connection with the actual physical floor. Seriously, because how did you get that dashboard to turn green? Did you actually remove the hazards? Did you engineer out the risk? Hell no. Hell no, you didn't. You got into the green by managing the spreadsheet, not the floor. When a guy twisted his ankle on the loading dock, you didn't fix the uneven concrete. You sat him into the break room with an ice pack and told him it was just a first aid case and it wouldn't hit the OSHA log. When an operator reported a near miss on a forklift, management made the paperwork so difficult and started asking those questions again. Said the operator, screw it, I'll never be reporting anything else again. The incident rate drops to zero. The dashboard turns bright green. The executives pat themselves on the back and hand out bonuses. They are living in the simulation. The spreadsheet has completely replaced the floor. And here is why it is so incredibly dangerous. When you live in the simulation, you are blind to the actual kinetic energy that is waiting to kill your people. Gravity doesn't give a damn about your ISO 45001 certification, a 480 volt arc flash that doesn't care about the TRIR is below the industry average. A falling hydraulic line cannot read your perfectly formatted safety policies. When you are obsessed with the matrix, or the metrics in this case, when you manage the map instead of the territory, you stop looking at the weak signals. You stop talking to the workers. You create a culture where people are terrified to ruin the perfect green dashboard, so they hide the truth. The hazard grows in the dark underneath the map until the day the system finally snaps and somebody gets killed. And then the executives stand there looking at their iPads, completely shocked, saying, but our safety metrics were perfect. But I just don't get it. How could this happen? It happened because your metrics were a mirage. You fell in love with the simulation. No, seriously, I'm being serious as I say this. So how do you break the corporate matrix? How do you fix this? If you are a safety professional, you have a job. Your job is not to be an architect of the simulation. Your job is to be the person who sets the mat on fire. You have to drag your leadership out of the boardroom and force them onto the floor. When they point to the green dashboard, you point to the broken exhaust fan that's leaking fumes for the last 3 months. Duh. You have to stop celebrating the absence of injuries and start measuring the presence of capacity. You have to stop rewarding people for playing the audit game. Tell your workers, do not put on your PPE just because I walked onto the floor. If the system makes it hard to wear it, I want to see that. I want to see the ugly truth. I want to see the reality. You have to accept that a messy, honest truth is infinitely safer than the perfect, clean lie. So stop worshiping the spreadsheet. Stop living on the map. The truth is that your culture isn't found in the metric. It is found in the dirt, the grease, and the honest conversations that you have with the people turning the wrenches. Break the simulation. Walk the territory. Seriously, I'm going to tell you, if you put these things in place, they can change everything for you.
Radio.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
You ever hit the wall, burn out, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, PhD. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal, safety transmission, The Collapse of the Construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, Ph.D. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and we're not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Some of the best things in life come to those who wait, but we ain't waiting for shit. Radio Break.
All I wanna be is all I wanna be. I flash, maybe put on the show. Anything for you to notice some potential. And if you like, keep it to yourself. It's easy to cut.
Okay, here we are. 45 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out on this lovely Thursday.
No, they won't hear a sound. Nobody.
You are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. Doing all the fun stuff that we get to do, no doubt about that. So this right here, this is Frankie White. Song's called Better. It's available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. Yeah, all she wants to be is better.
No, I won't feel stuck forever.
So there you go.
All I wanna be is.
Yep. So thanks to Frankie White for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. So let's continue talking and moving and grooving and doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. No doubt about that whatsoever. So let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Once you get there, all kinds of information is readily available for you. You'll see information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Listen, go there. There is so much information. There is a plethora of knowledge there in regards of things that are going on. All you have to do is just click on the information that you're looking for, and it will start going down the path. It will ask you simple questions just to kind of get into stuff that's in your area. If you put in your zip code, once you click it, you hit the search button, boom, it goes through the whole thing just to verify what is available in your area. Not a joke as I say any of this, but it is definitely something to take a look at. That is TWLOHA.com. Once you get there, it can change everything for you. So, To Write Love on Her Arms. Tell you, I think it's super important. That is why we talk about this on a daily. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. As you are aware, July the 13th, not too far away, we are talking about this. We have an event coming up in Orlando. We're calling it Reality Shifts. What are we going to be talking about there? Well, we're going to be talking about behavior-based safety with Nick Weatherly. We'll be talking about human and organizational performance with Todd Conklin. We'll watch a level of a documentary on that particular day as we're hanging out in a movie theater. And then I'll come in and talk a little bit about Signal, as we discuss quite often on this show. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io. That's safetyfm.io, or click on the section there on the screen. Or let me rephrase that. Let me not say click. Go ahead and scan the QR code that's right there, and that will take you to the webpage. Or you can just go to safetyfm.com and click on the section that says live events. Listen, I'm going to tell you, this one's going to be a different one compared to some of the other stuff that we do. This is not a multi-day event. This is a single-day event occurring in Orlando. So there you go. This gives you the possibility of coming out and hanging out over the weekend in Orlando. So some things to think about as we are going through. So that's going to safetyfm.io or scanning the QR code as we were just addressing. Anyways, with that being said, I do have John Smalls waiting in the wing, wanting to talk to you about what the hell's going on with the Motivation Minute. So if you're good to do this, I'm good to do this, and let's get that moving right now. Here's John Smalls with the Motivation Minute.
Courtesy of JSCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Hans Christian Andersen said, "Everything you look at can become a fairy tale, and you can get a story from everything you touch." Nice quote. I love this one. I agree with the story part more than the fairy tale part. I must live a different life than good old Hans. My fairy tales are limited, but my stories are aplenty. I've actually made some dumb decisions that have given me some colorful and very fun stories. I love to share them, actually. Even the stories where it's quite obvious I was the reason for the calamity, I've learned from every mistake I've ever made, so I might as well share them to help others avoid a mistake along their way. I do stand-up comedy, and a large portion of my material are stories that others would try to avoid talking about. Some would maybe even pretend like they didn't happen. Well, I look back and I laugh, and I hope that I can help somebody else avoid a similar mistake. The Motivation Minute. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
The Federal Reserve signaled Tuesday it will hold key interest rates steady amid cooling inflation, but watchful eyes on trade tariffs.
Officials cited steady job growth and wage pressures as anchors. Markets reacted calmly, with bonds dipping slightly. Fed Chair Powell stressed data-driven path forward in prepared remarks. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Iran extended its blockade of the Strait of Hormuz on Tuesday, sparking a sharp jump in oil prices to over $117 a barrel worldwide.
The key waterway carries 1/5 of global crude shipments. Traders fear prolonged disruptions from the Middle East conflict. World Bank warns of biggest oil supply loss ever recorded. Gary Beck reporting.
Former FBI Director James Comey faces fresh felony charges Tuesday in North Carolina for allegedly threatening President Trump's life over a social media post.
A grand jury indicted him on 2 counts of willful threats to harm the president. The case stems from Comey's Instagram seashell photo, seen by prosecutors as coded menace. Comey denies intent. Trial date pending. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Tick season exploded early across the U.S. this spring, with unusually high bite reports flooding clinics from coast to coast on Wednesday.
Experts blame mild winter and booming deer populations for the surge. Health officials urge repellents, checks after hikes, and quick removal to avoid Lyme disease. Cases up 30% from last year already. Kyle Norris reporting.
Heavy flooding across southern China has forced thousands to evacuate as relentless rains submerge streets, cars, and homes in provinces like Guangxi and Guangdong.
Authorities declared emergencies in affected areas late Tuesday. Rescue teams pulled people from waist-deep water using boats. No deaths reported so far, but damage assessments continue amid forecasts for more downpours. Chris Anderson reporting.
The United Arab Emirates announced Wednesday it will leave OPEC, dealing a major blow to the oil cartel amid rising global tensions and supply worries.
The Gulf nation's energy minister cited need for production flexibility outside group quotas. This reduces OPEC membership to 11 countries from 12. Analysts call it a win for President Trump, who long criticized the group, as the UAE eyes closer U.S. ties. Benjamin Wright, reporting.
A gunman with a shotgun and knives rushed security at the White House correspondents' dinner Saturday, firing shots aimed towards stairs where President Trump stood.
Secret Service agents tackled the suspect inside the Washington Hilton after he breached a checkpoint. New filings detail his arsenal and a manifesto showing intent to target Trump officials. The event canceled. No injuries reported among attendees. Lawrence Keller reporting.
The Pentagon's top budget official told Congress on Wednesday that the war with Iran has cost the United States an estimated $25 billion so far.
He testified that the figure covers deployments, munitions, and support operations since fighting began. Lawmakers from both parties pressed him on how long current funding can last. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is also set to answer questions about strategy and oversight in a separate hearing. Liam White reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking truth.
Okay, so there you go. 54 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's start talking right away about some things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's the best way to do it. Why don't we talk about what happened back on this day? That seems to be the best thing to do here. Back in 1952, Mr. Potato Head's first toy advertised on television. In 1974, President Richard Nixon hands over partial transcripts of Watergate tape recording. So there you go. Let's see. In 1997, 42 million people watch Ellen admit that she is gay. So there you go. That's some things that happened back on this date. If you're looking at some celebrity birthdays for today, let's talk about that. Isaiah Thomas turned 65. Adrian Pasador turned 61. Akon, 53. Johnny Galesic turns 51. Kristen Dunst turns 44. And Gail Gadot turns 41 today. So there you go. That's some birthdays that are going on today. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know. The 2026 Kentucky Derby takes place this Saturday. The main coverage is airing on NBC and on Peacock from 2:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 152nd run for the Roses, located in Churchill Downs, has scheduled post time of 6:57 p.m. Eastern Time. Earlier coverage runs the FanDuel TV, U.S. Network, and Peacock. Also, James Comey turned himself into federal authorities yesterday after being charged over an Instagram post prosecutors say that threatened President Trump. The case centers on a 2025 post where Comey shared a photo of seashells arranged in that read 8647. Prosecutors say that 86 can mean get rid of, and 47 refers to the President Trump as the 47th president, arguing that it was coded threat against the president. The Justice Department hit him with 2 federal charges, threatening the president and transmitting the threat to interstate commerce. Comey surrendered at the federal courthouse in Virginia for his first court appearance. So there you go. Also, on the third day of the U.S. state visit, King Charles III and Queen Camilla visited New York City's 9/11 Memorial, where they laid flowers and met the victims' families and first responders. The stop marked a solemn moment in their itinerary and the first visit by a reigning British monarch to the site. The trip is also historically notable. It's the first time British monarch has visited the United States since the Queen Elizabeth II's 2010 visit. So there you go. Also, the 4 Artemis II astronauts that visited the White House yesterday were met with by President Trump. During the visit, Trump praised the crew for their courage and global attention to the mission received. He told them that he had captivated the attention of the whole world and joked that the intensity of the space flight, saying that he wouldn't want to do it himself. He added that it is what takes people like them to make the journey great. So there you go. And what else? Last but not least, here's last night's winning Powerball numbers: 3, 19, 35, 51, 67. Powerball was 15 and Power Play was 2. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to end our show for right now. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to go over there with me and hang out as we talk about the world of music and entertainment. If you decide not to go over there and you decide to hang out on Safety FM, you can hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go, some options for you for some things to do if you're so inclined to do so. If I can leave you with some words of wisdom for today, every sunrise is a reminder that you get another chance to begin again. And if you need some words of advice for today, clean cloudy glasses with a drop of white vinegar for instant clarity. So there you go. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
These are the reasons I know won't feel stuck forever. 'Cause all I